stories.
Yeah, tell us your best story.
Well, I have no idea what a best story is.
Yeah, that's the thing. This thing is tell us your best story is not really your best story. Some of the people.
It's just
welcome to tell us your best story, by the way. So, yeah, some people are going to have more than one best story.
Could be the best story right now. I mean, I was thinking I was going to tell you a story about the time I fell into a river canyon outside of Waco and almost got killed. Back when I was in college. It was a pretty cool story. And
can you give us the super cliff notes of that story, and then we'll go to the time that you were in Cairo around the time Barack Obama was coming and you go to Jerusalem?
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear that.
So
obviously we're rolling. So
okay.
You know.
Hey, so the Cliff Note version of the Waco story. It was Groundhog Day, 1974. I was taking some friends out to this place that turns out to have been I think it was the middle fork of the Bosque River heading into Lake Waco.
I'm going to interrupt you because I didn't introduce you.
Mm.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Duane Bradley. Duane Bradley I've known for a few years now. I would play music at KPFT. It's a radio station in Houston, Texas. Check it out. And you were manager?
Sure was.
Manager of KPFT. No small task. And
over 15 years.
Also, I just found out you can look up a TED Talk that Duane did, right, on YouTube. It's on YouTube. And what was the TED Talk on?
It was titled "A Better Democracy Through a More Diverse Media."
A better democracy through a more diverse media. Check it out.
And it's TEDx UST.
University of St. Thomas?
Yeah.
Which is my alma mater. All right, so Cliff Notes, you're falling down, you almost die in a canyon.
Yeah, there was a little U.S. Geological Survey cable car across this branch of this river for measuring floods. And this little cable car, and it had gone out into the middle. And I brought some friends out there. I was really proud to share this with them.
And you were in college?
I was in college, and I got them out there.
Were you doing any mind-altering substances?
Was planning to.
Okay.
And had them on board, but wanted to be out on this little cable car across the little gorge before doing that. So they were with us. And it was in early February. It was cold. Got out there in the evening and found that somebody had cut the cable car loose and it was out in the middle of this span across this little gorge. I decided...
How high up?
About 30, 35 feet.
Enough to be dangerous.
Enough to scare us all.
Mm-hmm.
I climbed up on the wire and decided I was going to go out and retrieve the car. And stupidly, I went out there hands first instead of feet first. So as I got toward the center and my weight changed the center of gravity on that line, the wheels on that cable car that was suspended started rolling toward my hands.
Ooh.
And I had to let go.
Wait, okay. Great, awesome. This is a great story. So you're hanging there 30 feet in the air?
I had my feet and my hands wrapped in.
Is there water in the gorge?
It was really dark and it was at night, and so we didn't know. Well, as it turns out, I'll tell you, there was a tiny bit of water in there, but it was mostly rock. So,
so you're hanging there, and this cart starts edging its way because of the weight shift. It starts edging its way towards your fingers?
Towards my fingers. So
why do we have these fingers getting chopped off stories?
So I had to let go, or I could have lost fingers like Yoli.
He knows Yoli. He was actually, because they heard the Yoli story. He was actually there right after the Yoli story happened, and you said you...
collected up assorted bits of Yoli and...
A knuckle and what?
A piece of a knuckle. There were no actual hole and a piece of fingerprint.
Okay, we'll just let that
slide. True.
Okay, so you're hanging there. You're hanging there.
So I had to let go with my hands, which meant that I had my ankles wrapped around this wire as this thing came at me, and I grabbed it to stop it from crashing into me. And so I'm hanging upside down, holding onto this thing, and I thought I can do
You're
two
like
things.
Spider-Man in this thing up here. You're Marvel Comicsing it.
I thought one of two things. One, I could let go with my feet and lift myself up and sit my ass on the little platform, or secondarily, and maybe smarter in retrospect, I could have let go, and flipped my feet over my head and flipped into the cart. I tried to
into the cart. Now you're really trying to go Marvel Comics. But this is all happening in your head super quick.
Yeah, and so I let go, tried to lift myself. Immediately, tiny wristed me, my wrists snap off of that thing as soon as my weight shifts. I go plummeting down into this gorge, into the dark. My friends, Philip and Kathy, over on the side of the cliff over here, they just see me disappear into the dark.
No.
I crash, I see this bright, blinding light in front of my face, and I'm somewhat stunned. And
Not stoned, stunned.
Stunned.
Stoned was gonna come later.
There's a tiny trickle of water running through here, but it's mostly rocks. And as it turned out, there was a tree stump that had been washed down during the previous flood season with barbed wire wrapped around it, laying right next to where my head crashed. And as I went down like this, tumbling, I did like a cat thing, I suppose, because I actually hit on my feet, and then my momentum took me forward, and I crashed into a rock with my face, split the orbit of my eye, and then spent
the orbit of my eye. Very poetic.
And so I came home looking like a pirate, and for a couple of years I couldn't look up and to the right.
Wow, Duane. That's a heck of a story, man. I'm gonna give it a round of applause on that one. I had asked to hear the going to Egypt story, but that's an awesome story. So,
being part Irish, mostly Irish, it's hard to not be a storyteller.
Right. Have you been to Ireland? It's gorgeous. I was there on study abroad. I'll tell super quick one of my favorite Irish stories, because I usually always tell a little ancillary story in the midst of the other stories.
I want to go.
We arrived to Ireland, a bunch of American kids, and immediately we want to go to a pub, and it's morning. So the guy's a little, he's an older guard who's at the place we were staying. We were staying it was summertime, and it was a women's dorm at this Catholic university. None of the women were there. We were there at the place where Angela's Ashes took place in Limerick, where they went to school and where they went to church. You know the memoir Angela's Ashes? That was really big a few years back. So we go to the guard and we say, "Where's the bar?" And he thinks we're amusing, but he tells us, "Well, all right, you're going to go down. If you go out the street, you're going to take a left there. You go 2 blocks, and you're going to go up 2 more blocks. Then you're going to take a right on 43rd." And he was saying 43rd.
43rd, yeah.
But I heard 43rd, and I just started cracking up laughing. And but I didn't want to embarrass the guy, So anyway, we ended up embarrassing ourselves by going to a pub in the morning, trying to get a Guinness.
Right.
But I did find out that this is an interesting factoid about Ireland. Early in the morning, all the pubs, and there's a lot of them, set out their kegs in the street. And in the morning before school, all the kids play with them. All the kids are like playing with pubs, playing with kegs down the street. So I highly advise going to Ireland. You know what? I think we'll do the, you guys have a cliffhanger. No,
Cairo.
No pun intended. We have a gorge hanger, the Cairo story, because we may do more tell us your best stories with other people I've talked to, because there's so many people have so many great stories. So anyway, guys, as they say, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And Duane, thanks for that awesome story, man.
Well, you got it. I'll do another later.
Yeah, good deal.